Why we can't just ignore haters, the psychology of criticism. It's a common piece of advice, just ignore the haters. And on the surface, it seems reasonable. Someone is criticizing you unfairly, being unkind, or perhaps even trying to provoke a reaction. Why give them the satisfaction? But here's the problem. Our brains aren't designed to simply ignore criticism. In fact, we are wired to care. And understanding why can help us navigate the complex emotions that come with being criticized. First, let's talk about negativity bias. Our brains are far more sensitive to negative feedback than positive. A single cruel comment lingers, while 10 compliments seem to slip away unnoticed. This is because, from an evolutionary standpoint, detecting and responding to threats, including social threats, was crucial for survival. A misstep in a social group thousands of years ago could mean exile, which, in an era of small, interdependent tribes, was often a death sentence. So, we evolved to treat criticism seriously, even when we rationally know that a stranger on the internet, or a particularly harsh coworker, has little bearing on our actual survival. Our limbic system, the part of the brain involved in emotional processing, still reacts as though social rejection is a life-threatening event. Take the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, for example. This region of the brain, which activates in response to physical pain, also lights up when we experience social rejection or criticism. This means that when someone says something cruel, it's not just a mental event, it's a physiological one. We feel it. Now, if you're thinking, so what? That doesn't mean I have to engage with haters. You're absolutely right. But here's where things get tricky. Suppressing a reaction is not the same as ignoring it. Research on thought suppression, particularly the famous white bear experiments by Daniel Wegner, shows that when we try to push a thought away, it often returns even stronger. Telling ourselves not to care doesn't make the sting disappear. It simply buries it deeper, where it festers. So, what do we do instead? If we can't ignore criticism in the way we're often told to, how do we handle it? One answer lies in self-distancing, a psychological strategy that helps us process emotional events more effectively. Studies by Ethan Kross and others suggest that when we step back and view criticism from a more objective perspective, imagining it happening to someone else, or analyzing it as though we were a third-party observer, we reduce its emotional impact. Another approach is reframing. Some criticism has value, even when it's delivered poorly. If we can separate how it's said from what is being said, we can use it constructively. But if the criticism is baseless, rooted in someone else's insecurity rather than our own misstep, recognizing that fact can help us release it. This brings us to an important final point: the motivations of the critic. Often, haters aren't offering criticism in good faith. They may be projecting their own struggles, seeking attention, or attempting to assert control. Recognizing their motives can lessen the weight of their words. So, no, we can't simply ignore haters, not in the way we're often told to. But we can learn to process criticism in ways that protect our well-being, honor our growth, and keep us focused on what truly matters. Because at the end of the day, the words of others do not define us. How we respond to them, however, does.